For more, let's bring in Kenneth Marcus, the former Assistant Education Secretary for Civil Rights under President Trump. He's also the chairman and CEO of the Louis Brandeis Center for Human Rights. How have we gotten to this point where major Ivy League universities are having, I guess, to admit how far to one side they went?
Good to be with you, John, and it's a good question you're asking. We have to realize that these settlements don't take place in a vacuum. The context is that since October 7 of 2023, we have realized something that is not brand new, but that might be new to us, which is that the cultural and moral rot within higher education has gotten to the point where there are now large numbers of students and student organizations within elite institutions like Columbia and Harvard that are praising Hamas and attacking Israel, and who have become inflamed with the old hatred of Jews, anti-Semitism. This is something that requires a powerful response, and I'm very glad to see that powerful response that we're now seeing from the Trump administration.
Yeah, talk about powerful response. The Trump administration applied a significant amount of leverage, and we have a graphic that shows it. They revoked the authorization for Harvard to enroll international students, suspended more than $2 billion worth of grants and $60 million in contracts, launched at least 8 investigations into the university. They asked the IRS to revoke tax-exempt status for Harvard, and they threatened to remove the university's accreditation. That put a lot of heat on the Harvard administration, it would seem.
This is the most powerful action we've seen from any president on any civil rights matter. It is a so-called whole of government response, meaning that instead of simply letting a single agency like the Department of Education focus on one narrow area, President Trump has had multiple agencies throughout the government focused on using their leverage to make significant change. That's how we got the Columbia agreement, and that's what's going to be needed to get agreements, not just at Harvard, but at the many other institutions that are now being looked at, from Brown and Northwestern to the entire University of California system.
Do you think this will change anything? I mean, if some of those attitudes are deeply embedded in these universities, will all of this actually make a difference?
This absolutely will make a difference, not just at Harvard and Columbia, but around the country. Institutions will now be aware if universities tolerate a hostile environment for Jewish students, they will have to pay, and pay dearly. And that will certainly be true as long as President Trump is in office, or as long as there are organizations like the Louis D. Brandeis Center to hold them accountable. Having said that, the fact is that as long as we have faculty that are indoctrinating students with extremist, anti-Semitic, and radical political indoctrination, as long as we have students who are essentially imbibing this sort of thing, it's going to be a steady challenge and a long war.
Columbia University made some of the first concessions after their feet, its feet, I guess you could say, were held to the fire. Here are some of them. They offered $200 million to the Trump administration to settle racial discrimination claims, $20 million to Jewish employees settling post-October 7 civil rights violation claims. They implement a ban on masked protesting on campus. They say they will cooperate with the NYPD, and they'll also establish an independent monitor to ensure compliance. Do you think all of that is enough?
These are all important, and there are other pieces as well. For example, Columbia's decision to use the gold standard IRA definition of anti-Semitism, which it had previously balked at. When you put it all together, this is an important set of reforms. Is it as much as I would have liked? Is it perfect? Maybe not, but it is really an extraordinary step forward. One aspect I'd like to underscore is the employment piece. And at the Louis D. Brandeis Center, we do represent 2 of the janitors who were assaulted at Columbia University. One of the important aspects of this case is that the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission has taken an important role. That's not something we've seen before, but under interim chair Andrea Lucas, we're seeing really forceful action coming from the EEOC, the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, and that can turn out to be a game changer too.
Sounds like good news is on the horizon. Kenneth Marcus from the Brandeis Center. Kenneth, thank you.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.